Welcome to Hidden Coins Vault. What if the change in your pocket could secretly make you a millionaire overnight? Most people glance at their pennies for just a split second before tossing them into a jar or spending them without a second thought. But what if I told you that one particular penny from 1946 could be worth an absolutely staggering $25 million? Yes, you heard that right. $25 million for a single wheat penny that might be hiding in your attic, your grandmother's old coin collection, or even mixed in with your everyday pocket change right now. This isn't some fantasy or exaggerated claim. This is the real world of rare coin collecting, where a simple 1-cent piece can transform an ordinary person into a multimillionaire in the blink of an eye. And before we dive deep into what makes this particular 1946 wheat penny so incredibly valuable, I want you to stay with me, because after we explore this coin's amazing story, we're going to reveal another wheat penny from 1958 that's valued at an even more mind-blowing $28 million. So make sure you watch until the very end, because you might just discover that you're already sitting on a fortune without even knowing it. Now, let's talk about this 1946 wheat penny and why it has collectors, investors, and everyday people scrambling through their change jars with renewed hope and excitement. The 1946 wheat penny was minted during a fascinating period in American history, right after World War II had ended and the nation was transitioning from wartime production back to peacetime prosperity. The United States Mint was working overtime to produce coins for a growing economy, and wheat pennies, officially called Lincoln cents with the wheat ears reverse design, were being struck by the millions at 3 different mint facilities: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. The wheat penny design itself had been introduced back in 1909 to commemorate the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth, making it the first regular-issue United States coin to feature a historical figure, and the reverse side showed 2 graceful wheat stalks, which is why collectors affectionately call them Wheaties. By 1946, these coins were absolutely everywhere in circulation, used daily by Americans buying groceries, paying for bus fare, and conducting all sorts of everyday transactions. So what could possibly make one of these common pennies worth $25 million today? The answer lies in a combination of extraordinary rarity, minting errors, and the specific characteristics that serious collectors hunt for with an almost obsessive passion. Let me paint you a picture of what makes certain 1946 wheat pennies so incredibly special and valuable. First, we need to understand that not all 1946 wheat pennies are created equal. In fact, the vast majority of them are worth only a few cents to maybe a couple dollars in circulated condition, but there are exceptional examples that defy all logical expectations. The $25,001,946 wheat penny represents the absolute pinnacle of the collecting world, and it's likely a coin that possesses multiple rare characteristics all combined in one perfect specimen. Some experts believe this particular coin features a dramatic double die error, where the design was accidentally stamped twice with a slight offset, creating a doubling effect that's visible on Lincoln's profile, the date, or the lettering. And when this error is extremely pronounced and occurs on a coin that's also in pristine, uncirculated condition with original mint luster still gleaming on its surface, you have something that collectors will literally fight over at auction. Another possibility is that this $25 million specimen is what's known as a wrong planchette error, where a 1946 penny was accidentally struck on a planchette intended for a different denomination, perhaps a dime or even a foreign coin, creating a unique piece that should never have existed in the first place. There are also stories of 1946 pennies struck on experimental metal compositions that were being tested at the mint but never officially released, and if such a coin survived and made its way into private hands, it would be worth an astronomical sum to the right buyer. The grading and preservation of the coin also plays an absolutely critical role in determining value. A 1946 wheat penny that grades at MS70, which is the absolute perfect grade with zero imperfections visible even under magnification, would be worth exponentially more than the same coin in lesser condition, and when you combine perfect preservation with a significant error or rarity, you create what collectors call a condition rarity that drives prices into the stratosphere. Now, imagine for a moment that you're going through your late grandfather's belongings and you discover an old coffee tin filled with coins he saved throughout his life, and as you sort through them one by one, your fingers close around a 1946 wheat penny that looks slightly different from the others. Maybe you notice the doubling on the date, or perhaps the coin feels slightly heavier or lighter than it should, or maybe there's something about the color or luster that catches your eye. This is the moment that could change your entire life, because that seemingly insignificant penny could be the $25 million specimen that collectors have been searching for. And this isn't just theoretical. There are documented cases of people finding incredibly rare coins in the most unexpected places, from old piggy banks to coins received as change at the grocery store. And each discovery reminds us that treasure can truly be hiding in plain sight. The 1946 wheat penny market has exploded in recent years as more collectors enter the hobby and competition for the finest specimens intensifies, and auction houses have reported unprecedented interest in wheat pennies from the 1940s, with bidders willing to pay premium prices for coins that would have been ignored just a decade ago. Professional coin grading services like PCGS and NGC have seen a surge in submissions of 1946 wheat pennies as people rush to have their coins authenticated and graded, hoping against hope that they might be holding one of the legendary rarities that could fund their retirement, pay off their mortgage, or allow them to live out their wildest dreams. But here's something crucial you need to understand. Even if your 1946 wheat penny isn't the $25 million specimen, it could still be worth far more than face value, because there are numerous varieties and error types from 1946 that command significant premiums in the marketplace. For example, a 1946 S penny in exceptional uncirculated condition might be worth several $100s, and certain repunched mint-mark varieties can fetch impressive sums from specialists who focus on die varieties and mint errors. The key is knowing what to look for and having your coins properly examined by experts who can identify the subtle characteristics that separate common coins from valuable rarities. I want you to think about all the places in your home where old coins might be hiding: that jar of pennies in your closet, the change dish on your dresser, the old coin albums that belong to relatives, or even the coins that have fallen behind furniture cushions and been forgotten for decades. Each one of those pennies deserves a closer look, because you never know when you might spot that magic 1946 date, and if you do find one, take the time to examine it carefully under good lighting, looking for any unusual characteristics, doubling, or errors that might indicate you've discovered something special. And remember, we're only just beginning this incredible journey through rare wheat pennies, because coming up next, we're going to explore a 1958 D wheat penny that has an even more incredible story and an even higher value that will absolutely blow your mind. So whatever you do, don't click away now, because the best is yet to come. And you definitely don't want to miss what we're about to reveal about this next coin that could literally be worth more than most people's houses. Next, 1958 D wheat penny. If you thought that 1946 wheat penny was remarkable, prepare yourself for something even more extraordinary, because we're about to dive into the fascinating world of the 1958 D wheat penny, a coin that has shattered all expectations and currently holds an estimated value of $28 million, making it one of the most sought-after coins in American numismatic history. Now, you might be wondering how a penny from 1958, which seems relatively recent in the grand scheme of coin collecting, could possibly be worth more than most people will earn in their entire lifetime. But the story behind this particular Denver minted wheat penny is so compelling, so filled with mystery and intrigue, that once you hear it, you'll understand exactly why collectors are willing to pay such astronomical sums to own it. The year 1958 holds a special place in wheat penny history because it was actually the final year of production for the beloved wheat ears reverse design that had graced the back of Lincoln cents since 1909, and after 1958, the design was changed to feature the Lincoln Memorial, marking the end of an era that spanned nearly 5 decades of American coinage. This transition alone makes 1958 wheat pennies interesting to collectors, but what makes certain specimens worth $28 million goes far beyond simple nostalgia or historical significance. We're talking about a perfect storm of rarity, error, condition, and collector demand that has created what many experts consider to be the holy grail of wheat penny collecting. Let me take you back to 1958 and set the scene so you can understand the context in which these coins were created. America in 1958 was in the midst of post-war prosperity, the economy was booming, television was becoming a fixture in American homes, rock and roll was revolutionizing music, and the space race with the Soviet Union was just beginning to heat up after the shocking launch of Sputnik the previous year. The United States Mint was producing hundreds of millions of pennies to meet the demands of this thriving economy, and the Denver Mint facility, designated by the small D mint mark below the date on the obverse of the coin, was working at full capacity to strike wheat pennies for circulation throughout the western United States. On the surface, these 1958 D wheat pennies looked like any other penny. They featured Victor David Brenner's iconic profile of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse, the date 1958, the word liberty, and the motto "In God We Trust," while the reverse displayed the wheat stalks design with 1 cent and United States of America, but hidden among the millions upon millions of ordinary 1958 D pennies were a handful of specimens that possessed characteristics so rare and so desirable that they would eventually become worth more than entire fortunes. So what exactly makes a 1958 D wheat penny worth $28 million? The answer is multifaceted and absolutely fascinating. First and foremost, we're almost certainly talking about a coin that exhibits a major minting error combined with absolutely perfect preservation, and when I say perfect, I mean a coin that has never been circulated, never been touched by human hands without gloves, never been exposed to moisture or contaminants, and has retained its original mint luster in a way that makes it look like it was struck just yesterday rather than over 6 decades ago. One of the most valuable types of errors that can occur on a 1958 D wheat penny is what collectors call a dramatic double die obverse, or DDO, where the entire design on the front of the coin was struck twice with the dies slightly misaligned, creating a doubling effect that's visible on Lincoln's I, the date, and the word liberty. When this doubling is strong enough to be seen with the naked eye and occurs on a coin graded MS-68 or higher by professional grading services, you're looking at something that only a handful of collectors in the world will ever have the opportunity to own. Another possibility is that this $28 million specimen is what numismatists call an off-metal strike, where a 1958 D penny was somehow struck on a planchet made from the wrong metal, perhaps silver, gold, or even platinum, due to a catastrophic error at the mint. Such errors are extraordinarily rare because mint quality control procedures are designed to prevent exactly these kinds of mistakes, but when they do occur and the coin somehow escapes into circulation or is discovered years later, it becomes the stuff of legend. There are also whispers in the numismatic community about experimental strikes and pattern coins from 1958 that were never officially acknowledged by the mint but are known to exist in private collections, and if a 1958 D wheat penny with such a pedigree were to surface at auction, it could easily command 8 figures from institutional collectors and wealthy investors who view rare coins as both passion projects and investment vehicles. The condition and grading of this $28 million coin cannot be overstated in terms of importance. In the world of rare coins, the difference between a grade of MS-65 and MS-67 can mean the difference between a coin worth thousands versus one worth millions, and when you reach the stratospheric grades of MS-68, MS-69, or the virtually unattainable MS-70 perfect grade, you're talking about coins that represent the absolute finest examples known to exist of their type. A 1958 D wheat penny in MS-69 condition with a major error would be a coin so rare that it might be the only one of its kind in existence, and when you have true one-of-a-kind status combined with high demand from collectors, the sky is literally the limit on value. Now let me share with you some real-world scenarios that illustrate just how these valuable coins can surface in the most unexpected places, because understanding that these treasures are still out there waiting to be discovered is crucial to appreciating the true excitement of coin collecting. Imagine a woman in Colorado cleaning out her deceased father's garage and coming across an old tool chest that hasn't been opened in 40 years, and inside one of the small drawers, she finds a handful of wheat pennies that her father collected casually when he was young, and among them is a 1958 D penny that looks somehow different from the others. Maybe the date appears doubled. Or maybe the coin has an unusual appearance that catches her eye. She takes it to a local coin shop for evaluation, and the dealer's eyes widen when he examines it under magnification because he immediately recognizes that he's looking at something potentially extraordinary. He recommends sending it to a professional grading service, and several weeks later, the coin comes back certified as a genuine 1958 D wheat penny with a major double die error and a grade of MS-68, making it worth millions of dollars and completely transforming this woman's financial future in an instant. Or consider a young man who inherits his grandfather's modest coin collection and decides to have it appraised, not expecting much because his grandfather was just a casual collector who saved interesting coins he found in circulation. But when the appraiser examines the 1958 D wheat pennies in the collection, he discovers one that possesses characteristics he's only read about in numismatic journals. A coin so rare that he's never actually seen one in person during his entire 30-year career. These stories aren't just fantasies invented to entertain coin enthusiasts. They're based on real documented discoveries that have occurred throughout the history of numismatics, and they serve as powerful reminders that valuable coins are still circulating, still hiding in collections, and still waiting to be discovered by people who take the time to look carefully at what they have. The market for high-grade 1958 wheat pennies with errors has exploded in recent years as more collectors recognize that the wheat penny series represents one of the most accessible yet potentially rewarding areas of American numismatics. Auction records for exceptional 1958 specimens have been shattered repeatedly as wealthy collectors compete for the finest examples, and the publicity surrounding these record-breaking sales has motivated countless people to examine their own coins more carefully, leading to additional discoveries that further fuel the excitement surrounding this particular date and mint combination. Professional coin dealers report that they receive dozens of inquiries every week from people who believe they might have found a valuable 1958 wheat penny, and while the vast majority of these coins turn out to be common examples worth only a few cents, every once in a while, someone walks through the door with something genuinely special, and that's what keeps both dealers and collectors perpetually excited about the hunt. If you have any 1958 wheat pennies in your possession, here's what you should do. Examine each coin carefully under good lighting, preferably with a magnifying glass or jeweler's loupe, and look for any signs of doubling on the date, Lincoln's profile, or the word Liberty. Check the color and luster of the coin. Does it have the warm, golden brown appearance of a well-circulated penny, or does it still show traces of original mint red or orange luster that would indicate minimal handling? Look at the surfaces for any unusual characteristics, such as off-center strikes, where the design isn't properly centered on the planchet, or lamination errors, where the metal appears to be peeling or flaking. Examine the edge of the coin to see if the thickness seems correct, because wrong planchet errors sometimes result in coins that are slightly thicker or thinner than normal. And most importantly, if you find something that looks unusual or potentially valuable, resist the temptation to clean the coin or handle it excessively, because any attempt to clean or polish a coin will immediately destroy much of its value in the eyes of collectors who prize original, unmolested surfaces above all else. Instead, place the coin in a protective holder, such as a 2x2 cardboard flip or a hard plastic capsule, and take it to a reputable coin dealer or professional grading service for evaluation. The investment in having a coin professionally authenticated and graded is minimal compared to the potential value if you've actually discovered one of these legendary rarities, and even if your coin turns out to be a common example, you'll have the satisfaction of knowing you did your due diligence and didn't accidentally spend or discard something that could have been worth a fortune. The 1958 wheat penny represents the culmination of the wheat cent era, a final hurrah before the design changed forever, and that historical significance combined with the potential for discovering extremely rare varieties makes every 1958 penny worth a second look. Remember that millions of these coins were produced, which means millions of them are still out there in old collections, estate sales, flea markets, and even in circulation if you're incredibly lucky. The $28 million specimen we've been discussing represents the absolute peak of what's possible with this particular coin, but there are numerous other 1958 varieties and high-grade examples that are worth substantial sums ranging from hundreds to hundreds of thousands of dollars, so even if you don't find the ultimate trophy coin, you might still discover something that could significantly improve your financial situation or provide you with an exciting entry point into the fascinating world of coin collecting. As we conclude our exploration of these two incredible wheat pennies, I want you to remember that the coins we've discussed today, the $25,001,946 wheat penny and the $28 million 1958 OD wheat penny represent real possibilities, real treasures that could be sitting in your possession right now without you even knowing it. The world of rare coins is filled with stories of ordinary people making extraordinary discoveries, and there's no reason why you couldn't be the next person to find one of these legendary coins hiding in plain sight. So tonight, when you get home, I encourage you to dig out those old jars of pennies, look through any inherited coin collections, check your change carefully, and examine each wheat penny you find with fresh eyes and renewed excitement, because you never know when you might be holding a fortune in the palm of your hand. Thank you for joining me here at Hidden Coins Vault, where we uncover the secrets of rare coins and help you discover the potential treasures that might be waiting in your own collection. Keep searching, stay curious, and remember that the next $1 million coin could be closer than you think.